Hey, I'm going to walk you through the Gravitational Force lab. We're going to be learning how to use a new sensor. The lab itself is super easy, so just bear with me as I show you the new sensor, which looks like this. And you can use this hook and pull on it. You can hang things from it. You could drag things along. Or you could put a stopper on this that I have. You can take this off, and then you can put something else on and you can push with it. So we'll use this mostly for pulling, but you can also use it for pushing. It's also an acceleration sensor, but we won't generally use it in that manner. So what we're going to do is we're going to do a lab where we measure gravitational force with this. So how do we use this? Well, first we hook it up like we do all our wireless sensors. We're going to press the on button. Excuse me, I have a bit of a cold. So once you have the on button, you're going to go to hardware setup and the device should show. Pick your device. It's going to connect. And you get three choices. We're going to be using the wireless force sensor. If you go to the settings button, there's some interesting things here about zeroing. We don't really need to use that now, but the change sign button is useful. And let me tell you why. You can pull or you can push. Capstone interprets the pulling and the pushing as positive for the push and negative for the pull. Since we're going to be doing pulling, you may find it useful to change the sign, and that'll make pulling positive and pushing negative. You don't have to, you can just take the absolute value if you want, but if it bothers you to have negative in your graphs, you can change it. So I'm going to change it and press OK, and then I'm going to close this by clicking the button. And I want to show you, I want you to look at the bottom of your capstone where it says record, you have continuous mode. Here it has the three different sensors. So if you go to wireless force sensor, you can change the sample rate. It'll collect data more often. We don't need to worry about that for this lab, but there will be labs where we get a sudden force. So we'll need to make the sample rate higher so that you get more data more frequently. This button is what we need. This is the 0 button. So if you hold this still, right, not moving, and you press 0, it's going to interpret what's going on as 0 newtons, which is what we want. So we're going to check that in a moment. So let's put a graph in. So double click on the graph and let's get our force. We're going to get wireless force sensor, and it's going to automatically put force and time. And so if I press record with nothing on here, we should see that it's at 0. And if it's not, then you can just press the button once again. And you can kind of look at it by spreading this out. You can make sure, and you'll notice it's varying. That's because I'm shaking. See, as I shake the value, look at that. As I move it, it's going to shake. So you have to stay pretty still. You could even attach this to a ring stand so that it doesn't move if you prefer. That way it won't jiggle when you're holding it. So this is, once you've determined that you've got your 0, you can stop. And this, you can either delete the last one or just leave it and it will be covered up by the next one. Now, before you do anything else, let's save this experiment in a new file, because sometimes Capstone does crash. So you want to say, call this your lab for a gravitational force. And this way, if it crashes, you'll be able to save your, this is dynamics, and just save it. Okay, so let's start the lab itself. So I'm going to delete this last run because I don't need it. And I'm going to start by putting a mass on the hook. Oops. I'm going to put a mass on the hook. So I have 4 different masses in front of me. And we're just going to hang the mass on the hook like this. And hold it as still as possible and press go, record, and let's let it run for 10 seconds. Okay, so at this point, how do we get the information off of this? Well, we want to know what the force is, but the force, you could see, it's varying a little bit. We want the average force. So I'm going to teach you a new button on here. If you look at this sigma, this is the statistics button. If you turn it on by clicking on the button, it'll turn dark gray and it'll default to the mean value. There are times when we're going to want to know the minimum or the maximum, so you can use the drop down to select those things and it'll actually show you all of those, but we don't really need it this time. So I'm going to uncheck those. So now it's giving me the mean of all of this. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a screenshot so that I have a sample graph, and then I'm going to record this mean value. This is the force in newtons. So then I'm going to do it again. So I'm going to do this same mass 3 times, and I'm going to record all 3 values and take an average of those values. And then I'm going to try, so let's say I'm going to do this again. And in this one, so let's say I put it on late after I already pressed record. So you can see that this whole beginning, this part of the graph is not useful. So use the highlighter. I've showed almost all of you how to do that. All you do is you resize, you could drag the highlighter where you need it and then resize it so it just covers the data that you want. Then when you press the signal, it'll only give you the mean value for that region. If I delete this, then it's going to give me the mean value for all of it. And that's not, I don't want this part down here because that's when there was nothing hanging on it. I could also do, just this part, right? You can resize it so that it only selects the data that you want. So please use the highlighter when you have data points in that are wrong, okay? So what you're going to do is you're going to repeat this. After you do the first mass 3 times, you're going to do other masses. So let's say I do my second mass. So let me press record. And I get my second mass. I'm just going to hold it there. Okay, so, and then you do that 3 times. You do your third mass. You can also do mass combinations. So let's say, if you do this and then you add this one to it, then you'll have total. You're also going to need to record the mass of these. So they are actually written on the top, or you can use the balance that's in the front of the room to get the masses. And then you're recording the forces of each of those masses. Now, one question that I often get asked is, well, what happened to my previous data? So it's all on here. Capstone will not delete previous runs unless you click delete. So I highly recommend you don't, unless there's a really bad run that you do not want. So to see previous runs, you can go see this triangle button. It's the third from the left. And if you click the drop down, you'll see, oh, here's my first run. And look what happened. It blew it up so that I could see all the detail. Look what happened to my y-axis. So I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to shrink this by dragging this down, and then I want to get it so I can see my 0, 0. So shrink down, pull down, and then drag it up so you can see your at the scale that you want. So do that manually. This button here will rescale it to blow it up so you can see the fine details. We don't need that for this one. So there you go. So you can see other runs by checking them. If you want to see all of your runs, you can either press select all, or you could click this button and then you can check multiple runs and they'll all show up at once. I don't find that to be that useful, so I generally don't do it that way. So if the button here is gray, it means you have select. You're going to show multiple runs. If you want to show one at a time, you just go in and choose each one. So that's how you can go back. One last thing before I let you get started is if you go to data summary all the way to the left, you'll see all of your runs here. You can rename them by going into the settings, and you can change the run name. So if you want to say mass 1 trial 1, if you want to name them so that you can, when you go back, you could do that, and look what happens. So now, hold on, let me do all of these. And this one was mass 2. So what happens is, now that I closed that, look what the name of the run is actually up here. It'll tell you which one, so that when you do go back, you can see which one is which. So some people find that very useful. So now go do your 5 masses, 3 trials each, fill out your data table, and you're all ready to go.